Okay, welcome everyone. My name is Nora Rose Zinnerman. I think I probably haven't met any of you before, so welcome, welcome, welcome. Just to let you know how this goes, I've got a very short presentation on some of the things that I work with, which is basically website energetics. It's a topic I'm really interested in and I'm really passionate about. And then I'll just open up for questions. Please feel free to write any questions in the chat. I will be asking, if you have questions through the presentation. So, this is interactive. It's not just like a kind of speaker and then you go off home kind of thing. Do ask anything that comes to mind because all questions are valid, and I've prepared these mostly, for people that are perhaps they've got a website and they feel that the website is not quite representing, themselves, or they have never had a website and they are perhaps transferring from corporate into, running a business, or, you are considering perhaps having a website. You don't know very well how to choose who to work with. And sometimes it's there's a place of unclarity as to, how can I choose the person to work with, or how can I know what I want to express on this website? How can I know what I need to communicate? So sometimes at the very beginning, or when you are transitioning, it's sometimes a little bit difficult to know where to start. So it's a good thing to begin to reflect before you kind of move forward and make choices. So I am Nora, like I said. I have been a graphic designer pretty much all my life. I've worked in corporate before, and I've done, promotional work, annual reports, advertising, packaging, big brands. And now I apply all of that into working with entrepreneurs and mostly focused on doing websites. I've been doing this for quite a long time, websites, maybe 10 years roughly. And I absolutely love partnering with people and getting to see, where they're coming from, what the business is about, and reflecting that onto their online presence. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to start. I'm going to remove all this. Zoom has lots of things on the side. Got it. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen now. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Excellent. Lovely. Thank you. So I've already introduced myself. I'm going to move these here. So today I'm going to talk about website energetics and how to activate your online presence. So your website is the online home of your business. And I know it sounds really obvious, but it really is. It's like in the old days, we used to have, all the interactions in person. We would have someone come to our office or to my studio or to the clinic or, wherever, or you had perhaps an office that was like a shop. So, it was a public place. And people would interact with us and we will say, hi, how are you? Then we'll perhaps offer a cup of tea and then we'll go into talking about the work that we do. Perhaps we would take some notes. So all of that now doesn't happen anymore in that sense. It happens on the website. So it's like, as business owners and practitioners, we're kind of a little bit removed. It's like we're one step outside of it. But actually, this online presence, and perhaps you can see my hands, this online presence that is here really needs to be the experience of being with you. Yeah. So when you are welcoming people into your home, even if it is a friend or if it is a clinic or if it is work or, whatever it is, you're already guiding people. You're already telling them, would you like a tea? Maybe put your shoes here. Maybe, you are kind of slightly instructing, guiding, offering options and holding space. So all of these needs to happen on your website. So what we're doing on a website is replicating the in-person experience that a customer would have if they were with you in the flesh, in real life. So in a way, what we're doing now is almost what we would be doing if we were in person, right? There's already an interaction happening. I see a few heads perhaps nodding, or some people kind of, having some tiny reactions. There's something already happening here. I'm not just like a television booming out, yeah? Especially if you have your video on, then I get more inclined to relate to you perhaps, and you get more inclined to whatever, interact with me. So this is very similar. This is a place where you're welcoming and guiding your visitors in the same way as if you were in person. Is this making sense so far? Excellent. Now we go a little bit deeper, and your website is a holographic matrix of your soul business. So this thing that you do, this thing that is your business, perhaps you have like a beautiful vision of what you want to be doing, that is created as a matrix on a website. And it's not just that aspect, it's also that your website is a business tool. Things happen on a website, transactions, perhaps people sign up for things, perhaps people buy things, or perhaps people find the information they are looking for. And also your website is an energy field. So you are beginning to have these layerings of things that a website needs to do. And you, as a business owner, are responsible for all these things happening on your website. It's not that the website needs to look good or be pretty or just have some pretty photos. There's a heck of a lot of other things happening in this layering of the website, so that when people come to it, they really feel that they are interacting with you, with your business. And the experience of being on this website is a unified experience. It's not kind of all over the shop. So, welcome the people that have just arrived. You're very welcome to put your video on, and just place your questions in the chat as we go. So, your website is a portal into your world. And I'm just going to invite you to perhaps close your eyes for a minute. And just imagine your online presence, not necessarily your website, like your overall online presence, and just kind of tune into it. And just root yourself in this online presence of yours. Feel into what it feels like. And you may have images, you may have, words, or, you may have an atmosphere for this online presence of yours. I'd like you to take a breath and open your heart and allow people to, come into this business of yours, this online presence, and feel into how you're welcoming them. When you're ready, coming back to the call and opening your eyes. You're very welcome to share if you wish. Just unmute yourself and go for it. Or any questions that are coming up?
Just a thought that I had. I think I don't have a website at all. Haven't even started my business, but often I feel burdened by trying to say the right thing or trying to design what I would put on a website to be what people want to hear. But I think behind every good business there is a force of personality, and often it is the person steering a business that people warm to or follow. And so this has just given me an interesting perspective on what I really do want to put into a website once I get moving. Rather than saying the right thing, just be personable. It's got to come from me. So yeah, very interesting.
Excellent. Yeah. One of the things that happens, on many websites is they look good, they look professional, but they feel impersonal. And this is what you are perhaps talking about. When we are wanting our websites to be aligned with the essence of, our vision, what we really want to give the world, from ourselves, we need to really reflect on these. And like you said, do I compromise or do I just express exactly what I'm here to do? And expressing these is the key to creating the connection with the right people and repelling the people that are not aligned with what you do. Because those people that you are repelling are going to be best served somewhere else. So in a way, aligning to, the brand essence of this business that you're creating is the very first step for any website creation.
Yeah, thank you. That's you definitely give me a different paradigm to see this through. And I do wholly agree. I think more personal I can be on my website, which is in the sailing sphere. I'm a sailor by trade, so I'm looking at setting up a yacht delivery website. But to do so, I need to create a network. I need a big resource pot of crew and people that I can call upon. So it has to be personal. Certainly in the yachting world, when you're joining a boat, it's quite a small, intimate environment. And I guess the more people get to meet my personality and my ideas, which have good intentions, then the more I'll attract the right people rather than the wrong people, as you're saying, because they can certainly the wrong people could slow a business down, sabotage it. So I mean, going back to another word you said, energy field. The energy field, I guess, of other people's personalities has to be aligned with the ideas I have for business. So yeah, super interesting so far. Thanks.
You're very welcome. Any more? Anyone? Okay.
To echo what Jeffrey's saying, yeah, I noticed a sense of relief, like, oh, I just need to make it about me, Yeah. What is it that if somebody speaks to me in person that they get and say, yes, I want that, and how do I just replicate that? It feels so much easier. So, yeah, relief. Thank you.
Very welcome. Right, I'm going to share my screen. So for most visitors, this will be the first point of contact with you. It's like a shop window. You know, sometimes we're on a street and we see a shop window and we think, oh, that looks interesting, I'm going to go in. You know, that's kind of motivated perhaps by curiosity. There's like a little pool. And sometimes I'm looking for something specific. So I am going to go into the shop more intentionally because I knew that I'm looking for the specific thing. So your website is exactly the same. You can think about it as a shop window, you know, where people can be drawn in by what you've intentionally created to be in the window. So your website works on 3 levels. There's the energetic connection that we talked about a little bit with all your visitors. There's the container for your gifts and your teachings. And there's also the practical support for your business. And I'm just going to go into one, you know, each of these a little bit. So the energetic connection, this is the one we talked about. And now I want you to imagine what happens when a customer lands on your website. You know, just perhaps put yourself in their shoes. You might want to close your eyes for a minute again. Just imagine you are a customer now and you're coming to the website. Yeah. So how do you want to make them feel? What is the atmosphere you want to create on your website? And just gently coming back if you had your eyes closed. You know, some people want to create an atmosphere that feels very relaxing. And, you know, I'm just leaning back on my chair as I say this. You know, it's like a place where people just come and go like, ah. Or sometimes people want to create an atmosphere that feels, you know, like really upbeat and funky and, you know, stimulating. Or sometimes people want to create an atmosphere that feels, you know, very hopeful, very deep, profound, you know, offering hope. So all of these things, you can begin to pin them down yourselves, you know. What do I want my website to feel like? So when people land on it, they have this experience. Another thing to think about and to perhaps meditate about is what brings the right customers to your website. Yeah. So for example, for me, there's usually 2 types of people that come to work with me. What brings them to me is they're either, and I'm going to go more on feelings here, they're either feeling really frustrated, their website is either not representing what they're doing, their website maybe got dated and they've moved forward. That happens a lot. You know, people created a website and they're now here and they look and I go like, oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed about this website. Yeah, I can't stand it. I mean, it has happened to me several times, of course. So there's like an evolution happening in the businesses. Or simply they created a DIY website and some point it was never right, or was created by someone, it was never quite right. And they're beginning to feel like, I need to do something about this. Sometimes websites can be improved and tweaked and fixed, especially if you understand what is it that's not working and what you want it to be like. And some people, the other type of people that come to me are sometimes with no website, but they have been either part of a business and they understand business, or they're very ready to, you know, take the business forward, you know, to really be seen and have this online presence, you know, available for other people. So another thing that the website does, and this is really interesting, you know, as business owners, I work with a lot of creative entrepreneurs and they have loads of ideas. and they have, I'm going to offer this service, and I have this other skill that I do, and I have this other blah, blah, blah. And so sometimes I work with people that have one website, another website, a blog, they've got one LinkedIn account, one, and it's just so much maintenance, and it's just so much work to basically keep tabs on. And then it becomes a little bit disjointed, because one thing says one thing and then the other thing says one thing. And as a business owner, you can lose track of all these. So a good website will contain everything in the right place, right? And we can use the analogy of the home again. We can think, okay, in a home, I'm going to put these in the bedroom, in this other item is going to go in the kitchen, and things are very obvious. So when you have a website that is well designed, that the architecture of the home is well designed, then you know where to put things. Yeah, most of my clients, once I've done their websites, they can go ahead and add a service, add another page, perhaps even add a podcast, because the structure of the website, the architecture of the website is well designed for them to go and know how to create these extra things, including the flow of a page. They understand how the page needs to flow, what comes first, what comes second, and they can literally duplicate some of the pages we've created together and then create the new service. Because that's the other thing that happens, most businesses evolve, 6 months later, perhaps they're not offering the same thing as perhaps 6 months before or a year before. So when a website is well designed and well structured, what it does as well is it holds people well. I mean, have you ever come across a website that, you just got lost and you were like, oh my God, where am I? I lost track. I can't go back to where I was. Yeah, give me a hands up if you've been there, kind of thing. Yeah, brilliant. So, and the amount of times that it happened to me that I want to book a class. I want to book the damn class and I can't book it because I can't find it. I got lost somewhere, or I want to buy something. Yeah. So this is something that it's very easy for a website to have if it has been growing organically. So perhaps it was well designed in the beginning, but then as it grows, we just kind of lose track of what was there. And then, we create these kind of dead ends, I call them. And it's the same if you're driving, you might just get lost and find a dead end. Yeah. So a well-designed website architecture provides a home for the website owner, presents clear and useful information, and guides customers with clarity and with ease. And again, this is holding space for your people. And the last thing that a website does is it provides practical support. So your website becomes a support and sales tool. Obviously, you do sales and you offer information for people to book your services, to buy your products. It magnetizes the right customers, and this is something we talked about a little bit earlier. Yeah. So the right customers come because this website is aligned and it's just clear about what it is and what it isn't. And the people that come and are not aligned with what I'm offering, they go and they get really well served by someone else. Yeah. I'm not the designer for everybody, just like, other designers don't work in the same way as I work. So there's plenty of opportunity for everybody to do their thing. Just knowing that you need to be aligned with your thing is probably the most effective way of having a website communicate clearly. The other thing a website does is it pre-qualifies customers. Is someone saying anything? Okay. It pre-qualifies customers. So for example, when someone wants to talk to me and comes and books a clarity call, they very likely have a look at my portfolio, the other types of clients I had. They probably read about my services. So when they come and talk to me, we kind of get down to getting to know each other and see if we want to work together. Yeah, it's like we bypass all of that, you know, and what do you do? And how much do you charge? And who have you worked for? And, oh, can I see examples of your work? Because all of that, my website has already done the job. Yeah, it's pre-qualifying the right customers. So only the people that are a good match are going to book a clarity call with me, not anyone that wants to do a website. Yeah, and I want it that way. And then the other thing that a website does is it guides your customers to the sales funnel. And these are, it's a topic, basically, it is off topic today, but it's, you know, everybody knows what a sales funnel is, right? It's basically the steps and the sequences that people follow to purchase things. Sometimes a sales funnel leads onto a masterclass, or it leads onto a series of videos, you know, whatever the sales funnel is, and some people have several, is happening usually on the website. So any questions about everything so far? And I can't see the chat just yet. Okay, we'll move on to the last section. So the interplay of being a practitioner and a business owner. I mean, this is something that we all have to deal with, you know, in this kind of online world. And, you know, for example, I am a designer, but also I have to run the business. And sometimes we get a little bit sandwich, you know, we just forget the distinction, you know. And when you are on a website, you are holding space, you're being business owner and practitioner. So you're presenting yourself and your services, and also you're mapping the client's journey through your online home by gently guiding them, making suggestions, and instructing your client with prompts. So it's like you're holding several energies as you are responsible for the website. Because, you know, I'll be designing websites, but also I'll be doing all the onboarding of a client. And the onboarding of a client is the business side. I'm not a designer when I'm doing that. The onboarding might include the contract, or the email exchanging, onboarding them onto, you know, the documents that they need to have. All of that is business. And then I eventually get to do the design. But I am holding space right from the word go. I'm holding space as a business owner all the way through. And what happens is my website is also holding me, because the website has explained loads of things. So when I go on to do my work as a designer, the website has already told all the boundaries to my clients. Yeah, so this is another thing that the website does. So just to make this very clear for everybody, you know, a website is interacting with clients, and it's also interacting with business. So all of these energies are at play on your website. And this is something that is good, that you have this awareness when you are running a business and when you are creating an online presence. So we're coming to completion for the presentation, and I'm going to stop sharing. It'd be lovely to hear any questions or reflections, anything that you would like to say is welcome. Yes, please.
Yeah, am I okay? Speak?
Yes, of course. Go ahead, Julie.
So I found this really interesting. I've joined this, as you probably know, through Jenny, because I'm looking to although she tells me it would be in the future, creating a website to set up the new side business as, you know, as a healer and a medium and things. So I have only been thinking about that as how I would present myself in that respect. However, I have a corporate website that is very, very, very dated. And as much as I deal with energy and everything all the time, I have never really thought about that in the corporate world website, which is now very dated. And that's in construction. And I've just never, as someone that works with energy all the time, I've just never opened my mind to thinking, well, actually, I need to apply some energy into, you know, I've known it's needed updating, but I've never put it into the construction industry as something that I don't see as calm, gentle, which is the other side of my work. So that's really interesting, and I appreciate that a lot, because now I can look at revamping that website very much how it needs to be, but feeling like I can bring that side of myself out as well, which I've never really thought about in construction. So that's really interesting. And now I get a bit of a clearer understanding of how I can put myself into thinking about the website and the energies involved in that and how I would present myself, which I have no clue how to do, because I've hidden all this under a bushel for the last 20 years and never come out into the open, if you like, and started offering it to other people. I've hidden it all away. So really interesting. Thank you very much. Lots of food for thought.
You're very, very welcome. And yeah, I mean, you know, a construction website is still dealing with human beings, you know, it's still dealing with people that, you know, I don't know what they're coming to buy, but, you know, I just get the sense that they might be in a bit of a hurry. They might be, you know, under time pressure. You know, if you just, yeah, I mean, I know nothing about construction, right? But I've seen builders and their energy is always a little hectic. So
yeah, our business is very hectic, but we mainly supply services to big luxury construction development companies. We're
right.
not really domestic,
Okay.
but the end products are all very beautiful and very luxurious. But we do, to put it bluntly, walls, ceilings, and floors. So it's not particularly glamorous, but the end product is glamorous. But yes, we're dealing with a lot of contractors, a lot of fast-paced energy movement. But at the same time, we like to try and prevent ourselves, as you know, we're good at what we do. We're professional, and clients trust us with what we can do. And what we do is a shrinking market. So I try to sort of get that across. So yeah, definitely something that we could talk about, if that is something that you would still do in that corporate world as well. I'm not sure if you venture into that world still.
I was in the corporate one.
Okay, I didn't know if you still were doing corporate websites.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, I have done a lot of websites.
Okay.
Organizations, more formal websites. We can talk about that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Thank you.
Much, but yeah, it's almost like beginning to feel into, you know, what is it that these people need and what is it that we want to communicate, you know, because you're very experienced, you're going to have a lot of clarity. You're going to have the answers very quickly. You've been doing it for ages.
Indeed.
So yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
You're very welcome, and I hope
yeah, we'll speak again.
The reveal of Julie comes out soon.
Me too. It's been a long time coming, but you know, I've been working with, you know, Nicholas and Jenny, and yeah, really getting those tools into the box now, and now that box needs to be presented.
Excellent. Very good. Any more? All questions are valid. Yes, please. Yes, Christine.
Hi, Nora. Thank you for today. You were just talking in the presentation there about the page and how you said the pages are set up so you have something at the beginning, middle, and end, and you set it in a certain way. Can you explain a little bit more about that, please?
You mean the structure of a page?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, that's a big question. So, yeah. So the flow of a page when people land on a website is very important. I would say the energy, the website energetic goes into the detail of how a page flows. Sometimes the rhythm of the sections that come on a page needs to be 1, 2, 3. Sometimes the rhythm is, for example, a website I'm doing now, you know, the first section is like, wow, really impactful. And then it calms down. But in the beginning, it's like, yeah. And some other websites, the very first section that you see is like really impacting and being impacted. Let's see if I can read participants. Okay. And sometimes the first section, which is obviously it's called the hero section sometimes, is, you know, a lot more leaning back, you know, like people can take a breath when they see it, it feels spacious. So that's something that, again, we create intentionally. You know, what do we want the customer to feel when they land on that first section? And then from there, you just go, you know, you can be a bit poetic and then give the information and be clear. You can be a bit poetic and give the information and be clear. That is one rhythm. Another rhythm, you know, some other brands, they have a rhythm that, like I said, is more like, this is what we do, and this is the thing, and here you can get to it. Yeah, boom, boom, boom. So again, that's going to be in alignment with the brand essence of the business, and it's going to be in alignment with the type of customers that you're working with. Yeah, sometimes people don't need much information, they just need, you know, to get to the thing that they are looking for. Sometimes people that come to a website might be in pain. So if they are in pain, the website can't be too busy, too overwhelming, too much information, because they're not going to take it in. They just, I was just doing a website for a therapist, you know, it just needs to be really simple. Where's the email? Where can I contact you? I like it, what I'm seeing, you know, don't make me fill in a form even. Yeah. So the flow of the page varies according to the energy of the thing that we're working with. Is that kind of answering the question? I know I haven't answered. There's no formula. There are formulas, and you know, you can go to I think there's a company called StoryBrand, which are amazing, you know, for following this formula. You know, if anyone's interested and is kind of DIYing or studying deeper websites, you know, you can go on to StoryBrand, and they've got a real formula that is super effective. I mean, it's amazing, but it doesn't mean I use it all the time. You know, sometimes I just follow my intuition and I just follow, you know, what feels right. Yeah. And also, another important thing is to go and look at other websites and analyze them. This is a really good exercise. First of all, when I land on this website, what is the atmosphere of this website? And it can be in any industry. Yeah? It doesn't need to be in the industry that you're in. Because you might just feel like, oh, I love the feel of this website. You know, and it could be in a completely different industry. You know, if I go and look, sometimes when I'm perhaps looking for inspiration, yeah, and I have a client that is very, you know, luxurious, you know, high end, high class. I go and look at websites of hotels, you know, retreats, even if it is a coach, yeah, because they're gonna have that kind of high end, high class feel, yeah. It doesn't serve the design perhaps to what I'm doing, but the feel of the website might be a good match from what I'm doing, and it just might inspire me. And this is something you can begin to do, you know, find inspiration in other websites, analyze them. Is this clear? Does it make sense to me? If I'm a customer of this type of service, Can I find what I need? Even when you are looking through websites and looking for something you need, you know, just analyze your own experience.
Ask another question, please, Nora. You're saying that obviously I've actually looked on lots of websites, as we all do. And the one thing I've noticed is how sometimes it's presented with the different fonts people use.
Yes.
How does that affect it? Because sometimes, you know, you see things, I mean, there's a certain fonts you use which are better, you know, sort of online presence, or how does that work?
Readability is the main thing. First of all, that would be a priority. Again, fonts have an energy. Some fonts are, you know, very soft and gentle. Some fonts are really, you know, like power fonts. Fonts that are condensed usually, you know, they would, in the old days, we would use in posters and things, because a poster needed to communicate really quickly. So, you know, if it was something that was like, you know, like this energy coming out of the poster, we would use fonts that were bold and condensed, you know. So yeah, there's serifs. I mean, it's a whole world. Colors and fonts, all of those things are components that come into the layering once you've done the essential work, which is the brand essence. The brand essence is always the first step for any business wanting to do work, you know, wanting to do a website. What is the brand essence? And how do I get to that? Well, actually, I have a very, very, very easy to follow course. It's very short, it's only an hour. It goes deep, it works in the way that I've been presenting today. It's called Embodying Your Brand. And I'll put the link on the chat and also in the resources. That is a really useful place to start, and it's where all my clients start, learning to embody the brand. You know, when I work with clients, we go through a series of like detective work, questionnaires, you know, for a whole month. And then we begin to choose color palettes and fonts and the flow of the pages. That kind of comes last. Before is, you know, it's like a going in. What is the essence of this brand? What are we trying to communicate? Who are the people that I'm serving? Who are the best, most aligned, bestest customers that I want to work with? All of that comes first. The photo shoot, what do I want to communicate with these images? What do I want to show people, you know, in these photos? Is the experience of working with me. Yeah, so the fonts and the, you know, that kind of comes after. And it's usually, you know, by agreement with client and to match the photos and so on. And again, the atmosphere of the website. Any more questions?
I wouldn't mind just getting your thoughts. So my website has to appeal to very very different target markets. What with it being about yacht deliveries, I have to appeal to the owners of yachts. They're one market, but in order to carry out the jobs, I need to appeal to crew and attract a network of crew. So the owners will be, you know, they'll be turning up with a feeling of, I'm looking for high standards of professionalism, good sailors, good teams. The crew will be turning up looking for an adventure or looking to progress their careers. So I've got two different energies coming at me. And I wonder, in terms of clarity, you mentioned about entrepreneurs needing to sort of refine their ideas. They've got ideas happening everywhere. And I'm looking to appeal to two different areas of people. So I'm just wondering what your intuition says about that being doable, or could get confusing, or what?
Okay, so your yacht deliver. Sorry about the ignorance. So you are providing the yacht with the crew included. Is that what you're doing? But you have to attract the crew, and then you have to sell the crew and the yacht to the yacht owner. Is that what the business is?
Pretty much. The yacht will either come out of a yard, and it will be needing to be delivered anywhere in Europe. Could be UK to Spain, or to Greece, or to Turkey. So the owner will want this yacht delivering from A to B.
Oh,
The crew will
okay.
be wanting to,
Oh, okay. So
have
the
some fun
owner
and get
of the
paid for it.
yacht, and you organize the yacht to be moved from A to B, yeah?
Yes, that's right.
Needs a crew to be able to do that.
Mhm.
Okay. And so the thing is, the crew is like part of your business, yeah?
Mhm.
So for me, the equivalent would be I serve clients and I design websites, but I have Kirsty that helps me with all the technical stuff on the website. Then I have a couple of developers that I work with, and they help me as well. And they all come and meet my clients, yeah? Sometimes they become, part of the team, yeah? And then I work with, say, somebody that's copywriting, photographers. So that's kind of my crew that works with me behind the scenes, and then I deliver, yeah? So to attract the right crew for you, is it like you always are looking for crew, or is that something that eventually gets settled and you have a regular stream of people that will be the crew?
I think I'll always be looking for crew. I need about at least 100 people on the
Right. Okay.
because I won't be doing all the trips myself. I'll need other skippers to be, delivering the boats for me. I'll just manage the process.
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely two very different audiences, very clearly. Yeah. So it's like, as a company, you'll be enrolling, members into being a crew. You'll be enrolling staff, and then you'll be selling the product. The main thing that you're selling is the yacht delivery. There's no question about that. And your main customer is the yacht owner, but you are constantly recruiting people to be crew. So it's like companies, someone that is a crew member will know where to go. Yeah, they will know where to go. So there has to be, if you are a crew member, right on the homepage. Yeah, if you're a crew member, go here to apply. Basically,
Mhm.
it
Okay.
needs to be really simple for them to just go in. You're not kind of selling it to them, but you can have a really lovely section where it says, we're a fun company, blah blah blah, to work with, or we are a professional, whatever. I'm just making it up. We are a fabulous company. Please join us. You'll have repeat business. You'll be part of amazing teams, and we offer all the training that you need to get started, and blah blah blah. And maybe you have a couple of testimonials, from other crew members.
Interesting. So you're saying the pathway for the crew begins on the homepage, where really my primary goal of the homepage is to look attractive to the customer, which is the owner of the yacht.
Yeah,
Will be a very different person to the type of crew that are turning up.
No, the crew members are not going to be at the top of the website. They're going to be somewhere at the bottom, but it needs to be very clear for them, especially because you are constantly recruiting. So if I am a designer and I'm looking to work with a design company, yeah, I will go to the footer because I know that's where they have careers or positions, open positions, yeah. But design companies are more discreet. There's always this thing about being discreet. But for you, perhaps, the crew members may not go, if they're not accustomed. Just look at other websites and look how they recruit crew members. And they do. There must be someone that does yacht delivery and recruits crew members.
Yes.
Just analyze the structure and see, Put yourself in the shoes of a crew member. Are they really smart? Will they know where to go? Or do they need a little bit of guidance right from the homepage?
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll certainly need some guidance.
Okay.
Because I mean, a lot of sailors are adventurous for a reason, because they don't fit into the officey techie world.
Yes.
And a lot of them could be quite maverick and won't necessarily know the way around a website.
Yeah.
They know the way across an ocean, but
made obvious, because they're not interested in the website. They're not interested in the sales pitch. They just want to get on with it and apply.
yes, exactly that. Okay, that's really handy.
Good.
Useful with that for sure. Thanks.
Thanks. Any other questions? Okay, I'll just check my presentation if there was anything else. I'm just going to share these. So for anyone that is interested in going further into this kind of work, you can take the courses that I've just mentioned. One is called Embodying Your Brand, and it's always the first step in the process that I do. Embodying Your Brand is learning exactly what is the brand essence. And this is what's going to create the resonance with your clients. And then Plan and Create Your Brand Photo Shoot. This is a very practical course for people that want to literally go to a photo shoot, knowing what they're going to do, knowing what they're going to wear, knowing what the locations are. It just goes through every single detail, including how to choose the right photographer. Now, that's for the people that want to get started, are going DIY, or are going to work with other designers. If you want to work with me, there's two ways of doing this. The starter website design, which is for a simple, beginner's website, but very powerful and mighty. Or if you have a more complex website, with several things happening on the website, like, for example, there's a shop and there's a calendar and there's a lot of kind of moving parts to the business. Then we go for the Ascendis website design. And if you want to explore working together, of course, you're very welcome to book a clarity call. Now, thank you so much for being here. It's always wonderful to meet people online and to have these kind of interactions. And I'll be creating another presentation on what you were talking about a little bit, Christine. What are the elements that make a website, and that will include all of that. I'm kind of figuring it out myself, how to explain all that. But I'll get there and I'll put it out very soon. Any more questions before we go? Any more comments?
One quick question: your courses, particularly the first two, what's the time frame on that? Just wondering what time if I was going to take a course, what time I'd be completed by.
Oh, the course, each course is an hour long. They're very short.
Oh.
Yeah, they're very short. You have questionnaires to go through, so you take the course, fill in some questionnaires. There's a couple of guided meditations and visualizations, just like we did today. They're very simple. And then we're done. Some people do them in a day. Some people take a week because they just want to reflect a little bit longer. Yeah, they're just an hour long.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I don't like complicated things. Right. If you want to stay on and chat with me, please feel free. Otherwise, I will stop the recording now. Stop the